Welcome, everyone, to the Squared Circle Maniacs YouTube channel for the latest edition of the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles. To my left, right over there, is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychologist. And last night, we had a wonderful episode of AEW Dynamite, a 2-hour window plus an overrun of professional wrestling. It's the go-home show for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. That's the 15-hour pay-per-view they're going to run on Sunday. And make sure you get a good night's sleep on Saturday. So if you're going to order that pay-per-view, you'll be able to stay up till like 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the friggin' thing because it just goes on forever. I can't think of another 2-hour block of wrestling plus an overrun that I'd rather watch to get me fired up to buy AEW Dynamite, AEW Double or Nothing. That's AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday. A 16-hour show.
We're trying to help them out.
Can't wait to see it. They were just fire up the Days. What is the Zone app? Days in the Zone.
It's called the Zone.
Go ahead and fire that app up and
no, they don't have it anymore. They don't have it anymore.
They lost that provider.
Yes, they lost.
Well, go ahead and fire up the Bleacher Report. They still have that?
I have no idea. I stopped doing that shit.
Fire it up on Triller TV. They may.
I think it is on Bleacher, though. To be honest, I think it is.
They still have Triller TV?
No, I bet it's on Bleacher.
Triller TV is another app you can stream it through. I heard. Buy it on there.
Know. Where are you going?
What a show! AEW Dynamite, everybody. What a show! All right, that's all we got for you right now. We'll see you next week,
dude. You said this was the go home show, and this did not feel like a go home show. 713,000 fans watched this rectum bagger of a show on the go home episode. It's I don't know how to explain it, Bottles. I want to get to the good stuff. There was some shit that went down on the show. I felt like some bad 90s TV was revisited in a couple of segments. Mm-hmm. It's like they didn't learn their lesson.
If I wasn't already home, I would have gone home.
Let me ask some Models. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? The Brood, correct? We talked about the Brood.
Yes. We talked about that. We talked about the fact.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me go through this. You and I might have different takes, but here's my take. It wasn't over. It wasn't over as a unit. It wasn't. It just didn't work. Christian and Edge were cool-looking dudes. Vampiro looked like he should have been bagging groceries, just a weirded out ass weird guy.
Gangrel, not Vampiro.
Oh, sorry. Gangrel. Sorry. Everybody wanted to be a goddamn vampire in the 90s in wrestling, and I still don't get it today.
He was Mr. Luna Vachon, by the way.
Dude, I have serious ramifications from that era where everybody wanted to be a vampire. The reason I say this is I got bagged on after I said that last week. People bitching and saying, you don't know shit. You weren't around. This was totally over back then.
You got bagged.
Do you know how? Oh, I got bagged on hard. Do you realize how long that group was actually
bagged
together?
On your rectum.
No, let's stay on task.
Is that like a rectum bagger?
No, that is not. It is not. That would be more. I'm not even getting to that.
Dude, every week there's like a new anatomical term that you come up with.
Well, look, my point is that this show had one of those segments we're going to talk about it, but it wasn't over there. Do you know how long the Brood were around?
Just
timeline-wise?
Just a few.
No,
years.
How about 6 to 7 months was their timeline? That was it. They weren't around long. It was memorable because it was Edge and Christian's debut. This show last night showed you why shit like that didn't get over. It was corny then, and it was corny last night.
Right.
And I was thinking about this as I watched this show last night. This show is like a snake handler, like a poisonous snake handler. You don't know why this asshole's doing it, and eventually he's going to get struck, and he's going to get bit, and he's going to be like, oh, that was my fault. This was me last night watching this because Orange Cassidy kicked off the show. I said, that's it. I'm a snake handler. I just got bit.
Why do they keep going to the same well of these? Who else do they have? Who else do they? Where's Samoa Joe? Where has
he been?
Where's Samoa Joe? I don't understand it. Where's Joe? That's a proven ratings draw. And for that matter, you and I talked about this. If you've got Maxwell Jacob Friedman on your payroll, who is out with surgery to his shoulder and he's got his arm in a sling, why wouldn't you have that guy? He can fly. He can talk. Why wouldn't you have that guy on your television? Cutting promos, doing commentary instead of Don Callis.
We talked about this. Yes. We've talked about this, and you don't want to believe me. Tony Khan is working all the marks online that will believe he's going to the WWE, and he wants it to be a big surprise when he comes back. So instead of using him to keep a segment or two hot, to keep a ratings number going here and there, he believes he's working the room, and he believes he's smarter than everybody else, and he's keeping them off television to work everybody. He thinks it's a good plan. I'm not saying it is. That's his mindset.
The same man that hired Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. I'll just call her Sasha Moné from now on. He hired Sasha Moné to come in, and her strong suit is wrestling. Well,
you say that it is.
She couldn't wrestle because she still was recovering from a broken ankle. So they had her talk. They had her talk for 2 months. Good Lord Almighty. And now she's a heel. They brought her in as a face, and now she's a heel fighting uber face, good girl next door, Pillow Nightingale.
I couldn't stand this show from this onset. I'm sorry. I can't get behind whoever these fans are that like Orange Cassidy. And he came out with Will Ospreay. I haven't seen a lot of Will Ospreay until he's come to this company. I like Will Ospreay. I think he can cut a decent promo. I think he's pretty cool. I enjoy his matches. When he's not diving every 30 seconds, when he's not no-selling every 5 seconds, when he sells, he looks legit because he's not one of the bigger guys, and he should be selling. And it makes sense. It makes sense when he sells. So I'm sitting here watching this thing go down. OC comes out with Will Ospreay. There were 2,000 people in this building, and it sounded – and we talked about this on Tuesday. The WWE crowd sounded like shit. This one sounded like they watched that show and said, well, I'm making no damn noise then.
We can make it worse.
Yo, yeah, we can totally outsuck you guys on this. Watch us undersuck you right here. This was terrible. And you would think that if all these people are supposed to be behind this company, they'd be making noise. They'd be out of their minds to be there. They sat on their hands again as Trent Beretta and Roderick Strong came out. And I just said, you know where this is going to go.
Let me ask you a question. You said there was 2,000 people there. How many of those people were given free tickets, and how many how many are seat fillers, Don?
I really would venture to guess they probably sold 1,800 tickets. I would say that's a strong guess. They probably had 200 or 300 friends and family deals, or here's the local radio spot or whatever. I mean but still, even 200 to 300 with only a 2,000 seat show, that's 10% of your crowd got free tickets. And then the problem that I've heard from guys that promote shows all the time is that it's good to have a full house. It's shitty to have a papered full house because it's people that usually go that have not been to a wrestling show and don't know how to react to the stuff going on in the ring. So they just sit on their hands. There's nothing worse than going to a football game or a baseball game with somebody that's never watched the product, has no idea what they're going to be watching because they don't know when to cheer, they don't know when to boo. It's the same principle. If you don't follow it, you don't know what the hell's going on, and you're just sitting there the whole time. Well, shit's going on.
When you go to Five Guys, and if you spent $40 at Five Guys, they give you 2 free tickets to AEW Dynamite.
Grey Goose. I thought that line might get over. I'm glad you caught it. I thought it was pretty good myself.
Outsuck you, rectum bagger. What else is coming next? What's coming
apparently
next?
This match is what's happening next. Thanks for liking, everybody watching the show. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. Don't got to give a whole lot of money. $1 or $2 of you got something to say. We appreciate the questions, really, and the ideas, because we can't think of everything out here. We're fans just like you guys. We're not trying to pretend that we're going to put on the next backyard mud show over here in the villa. That's not happening. We're just here to talk about these shows. Exactly. This show had this match had everything I thought it was going to have. It just did. They were in the ring. All 4 is in the ring. The ref doesn't give a shit. He's not counting. Nobody's in danger of getting counted out. They're diving back and forth. It's the same shit every week with these guys. Nothing changes. There's no rules. It's like ECW was. It's just every now and then they enforce rules and they start counting. That was one of the reasons I couldn't really get behind ECW, because there was no rules. Well, if there's no rules, then who gives a shit? Get a gun and shoot the guy. That was one of the things.
There's no rules in this stuff. There's no rules at all. No countouts. DQs, no DQs for anything.
And that's what I wrote down. All four of these guys are in the ring for an extended period of time. The ref is doing nothing. And then it made no sense. There was some run-ins. There was some bullshit. The heels won, so you know who's going to win at the pay-per-view. The faces are going over because they just had this happen.
Sure.
And then we had a mid-90s moment where, remember the Shawn Michaels versus Austin Open segment where he put the belt in his face and said, "This is as close as you're ever going to get to this"?
I remember that. Yes, I do. Because
they had this
very, very intense moment.
They had the same thing last night. They did the exact same thing with Roderick Strong and Osprey. The exact same thing, Bottles. Almost word for word. He had two guys holding him just like they did before WrestleMania with Austin. Had him tied up in the ropes, hold him back. This is as close as you're ever going to get. I don't know that this guy's got a original idea in his brain. I don't know that he does. He just watches this shit and plays it back. And look, if you want to borrow some shit from the 70s that people really haven't seen in a long time, that you'll probably catch my attention with. This felt like a lame attempt to recapture the glory years. And believe you me, folks, we appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Please like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. We appreciate it. What do you got for me on this? What did you see about this match that made you want to slit things in your body?
Anything that involves Orange Cassidy or Trent Beretta nowadays is it's got go away heat with me. I don't want to see these two guys at all anymore. I would rather them be off the air, let them cool. I've said this before. That was my brain doing a 180. I said this before. I'll say it again. You've got Ricky Starks on your payroll.
No,
You've got Samoa Joe on your payroll. You've got MJF on your payroll. You've got Lance Archer on your payroll. Why don't you have these guys come out and take the place of Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy? I would rather have seen Ricky Starks face Will Ospreay and have him team with Roderick Strong. I don't understand why they did that. No one cares about Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy. That's all I can say. No one wants to see him. They've worn out their welcome, especially in my living room. They've worn out their welcome. Ospreay and Roderick Strong, they're going to steal the show on this Sunday's pay-per-view, I guarantee it.
Well, here's my question. Are they going to
matches? It's going to be one of the best matches of the night.
Are they going to sell anything? That's my issue. That's the issue it always comes back to. No one sells shit. It's just back and forth, and no one sells, man. You've got to tell me, as a wrestling fan, you've got to give me a reason to care that you're down. If you get right back up, I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yes.
That's just how I feel about it.
It's the adrenaline.
The next part of this show was, of course, the Bucks backstage with the worst acting I've ever seen. From who was the manager? Because I can't remember the guy's name, and I'm sure you do.
What?
The manager backstage. The manager.
What manager?
The manager of the 8-foot pinhead.
Oh, Sanjay Dutt.
Okay, I haven't seen that guy in months. Honestly, I haven't. I can't tell you what the guy's name is because he's never on TV. And suddenly,
they're all relegated, dude. They're relegated to Rampage and Collision. Rampage is where unused characters go to die. They go to Rampage. Saraya made an appearance. She's on vacation from Rampage. She appears later on the show.
We'll get to it.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying.
On Rampage.
I don't even know the guy's name, Bottles. I can't remember who he is. I know him by face. I know he manages those idiots.
They're not doing anybody. They're not doing guys like that any favors in a company where you've got 201 on-air talents. They're not doing anybody any favors. And they cycle them in and cycle them out in bullshit storylines you can't remember on shows that you don't want to watch because it's all indie garbage bullshit. That's why you don't remember Sanjay Dutt.
The backstage segment was terrible. Everything about this segment was awful.
Everything about this angle is horrible.
Yeah, but the Bucks, dude, it's just so bad. It's bad acting. And this clown comes in, and he's all over the top with everything he's doing. Ooh, I got to get me a payday. It was the most clownish thing. And this is a show that had clownish things everywhere. It had clownish events everywhere, all over the place.
Orange Cassidy's the pro wrestling mime.
He is. Hands in his pocket, sells everything.
What was, says Motorhead, what was that character in the Road Warrior with the mask? What was his name?
I can't remember, dude. You're asking me stuff. I got enough shit on the brain right now with this going on. I'm having to concentrate on this shit show of a factory that was last night with this clown screaming. Then we have the 9-man tag team champions come out. I didn't know they had 9-man tag team. Did you see this shit? They're still doing it.
There's all these unified belts. They got to carry them around a wheelbarrow now. And a cart.
I saw this, and that's what I wrote down. We got 9-man tag champs appearing. The Bang Bang Gang. Switchblade and the crowd had a moment.
Let me ask you.
Had a moment. Lord Humongous, that was his name.
Lord Humongous, yes. Let me ask you this question. How often does Jay White wake up in the morning and say, what did I do? What the hell did I get myself into? I believe these two green kids around by the nose, trying to smarten them up to the business and teach them something. All three of those guys should be in WWE. All three of them.
Bottles, I noticed one thing about this segment on this show. Absolutely no one in the crowd gave a shit about what was happening. And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. He's sitting here, and they did it twice. They did the whole, how do you say Pac's name? How do you say his name twice? It wasn't funny the first time. It was so not funny, he went back to the well to try to get it over again. And out of nowhere, in this dead-ass crowd of an arena, where you can hear a pin drop, you hear somebody in the back, who wrote this shit? Clear as day over the camera. Clear as day. Even the people in attendance for the show knew this sucked and died in the middle of the ring. And this is your go-home show. And you're putting the first 3 segments on your show are dead in the water. Dead. Who wrote this shit? I watched that 3 times. I just laughed my ass off. I was like, if Bottles has an edible, he might have a heart attack. He might have a heart attack laughing at this.
Pal, I had an edible and almost pissed myself laughing when I saw that. And Jay White turned around like, what the fuck? They don't do this in New Japan. They don't say this to me in Japan.
He really did.
He did. He turned around like, what the fuck? And the Gun Kids were probably,
oh shit! Get me to NXT as fast as possible, quickly, please.
Dad, what happens when someone yells out like that?
I don't know. It never happened to me, Junior.
Never happened to me because we were over. Road Dogg and I were.
Have you seen my shit, son? I was over like Rover, pal. 8 million people watch me at one point in time. I don't know what the hell's going on here. We can't get 800,000.
I look even better now. Look at me.
Do you think the Road Dogg
muscles in my rectum?
Do you think the Road Dogg texted him after the match? That's a tough break. Who wrote that shit, by the way? No, he said, who wrote that shit, by the way?
Right. I'm sure. And they all watch each other's shows. You can't tell me they don't. They record it, and they all watch it. They watch it online on their phones while they're traveling, or they go home and watch it on their DVRs. They all watch every other company's shit to see how they're being presented compared to how a new signee in the other companies are presented. And you look at the new signees in the other companies, how, in WWE, and how they're being presented over there as opposed to these guys who get forgotten about in AEW.
This wasn't forgotten about. This was just dead in the water.
Then out came talk of Twitter when it happened.
Out came Pac and his group. What the hell they called again? The Triangle? Death Triangle.
Death Triangle, yes.
The group that no one gives a shit about, that's been gone for a year because the one small guy keeps getting hurt. No one cares. They came out, they beat the shit out of him, hit him with a belt, got a little bit of blood. On to the next segment, which, of course, as we all know, is the best thing to happen. Jericho came out. Thank God we got Jericho. I was so happy when I saw this. And I do enjoy this much. the fact that he was giving Taz shit, talking about this belt now stands for the world, that was pretty good to me. I thought that was comical because Taz was selling the shit out of it. You know damn well that's not what that means. He was hot about it. I kind of laughed about this, man. I really did. I thought it was pretty good. That kind of got me to pop. And then we had in the middle of this, it turns out we're going to have a match, a three-way, it turns out. Shibata? Yeah, not that.
Three-way?
No. Shibata, Hook, and Brian Keith, the outlaw Brian Keith.
He was the nipple nibbler.
Well, he came out dressed like an outlaw.
You know.
My man came out dressed like a bad Clint Eastwood movie. Poncho hat, the whole 9 yards.
That's the way he dresses. He's the biggest giant ever. They need a big fat guy on the other side of the ring in the corner so he can like nurse the bounty hunter Brian Keith. He can nurse him back to health. If you know. By
the way, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate the subscribes right now. We're trying to push to 750. That's the next big number. We got 6 this week. Try to get there. Tell your friends, tell your family. Even if they don't watch, get them to subscribe. And the super chats are open. If you got something to say, let us know. This
and
thing
hit the notification bell. Can I get my plug in? Hit the notification bell down below. And Larry, a ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling.
And so
bing bong on the ding dong. Go ahead.
This thing ended with a very cool moment that I was like, this is a waste. This was a waste of this moment. I can't remember the last time I saw a double tap out, if ever, in a three-way. I don't know that I've ever seen it. I know it's happened. I believe somebody mentioned it was done in WWE. I haven't seen this in forever. And you wasted this.
It was done in a meeting room in the WWE.
Stop. This was wasted. This was wasted on a go-home show with a match nobody's going to remember. Why did this happen?
They did this because they realized that if you have Hook versus Jericho, they're going to stink the match up. Jericho he can't go. He can't go anymore.
But that's, I get it.
Don, he can't go and do a 20, 30-minute match anymore. He can't do it. So what they're going to do is they bring Shibata in to work the match with Hook. That's not what
I'm asking, though. That's not what I'm asking. You're not hearing what I'm asking.
I'm trying to hear what you're asking.
Why would you waste this finish on a show no one gave two shits about? It was actually a good idea. I'm saying this. This was a good idea. As a wrestling fan, I was like, oh, shit, I don't know if I've ever seen that. Why are you wasting it here?
The show that you don't give two shits about, is that Double or Nothing or Dynamite? Or both?
This match. No one's going to give a shit about this match. No one. And you wasted a good idea on this shit show with the guy dressed like Clint Eastwood.
It reset the match for Sunday. The match for Sunday was going to be a one-on-one match, and it reset it to a three-way.
Well, you can get there in other ways, though. Like, that's what I'm saying.
The fat black Clint Eastwood, who's got a taste for other men's nipples, he tapped out. And he's done. He's done.
I get that. What I'm saying is you don't need to waste that moment in this match. There's other ways to get there.
How come guys like bounty hunter Brian Keith are injury-free, but guys like Powerhouse Hobbs are always hurt? Miro, always hurt. Guys who really need matches like this to get put on TV. But I don't know.
Then they had the Willow and the Monet replay, which was actually really well done. It was well done. It was high quality. I didn't hate it.
It was almost WWE-ish. Yes.
I was like, all right, Tony's learned some lessons here. He's put some production value into it. I'm not going to hate on this. Mm-hmm. Then we had Takeshita. I got it. I got it, bitch. Takeshita comes out. Takeshita comes out in his match. And he turns out he's facing Father Time. Nope, that was Matt Sydal. That dude looks like he's aged 10 years in this company. I am not even joking about that.
Matt Sydal looks like he cuts his own hair.
I literally wrote, holy shit, did he turn 70 in the past year? He looked horrible. He looked just gray and tired and done.
You see, he's like in his mid-40s now. It's over. He's only got a few years left of flying around the ring.
But being in his company
5 times in his entire career, over and over again. Being in this company, I know he's got to make the best of it. He's got to make the best of it. He always puts on he's a jobber to the stars, but he does make them look good.
He looks like Father Time beat his ass with a stick, dude. He really does. I've never seen a wrestler age like that. He looked like every president that leaves after 8 years. When they come in, they're young and happy. When they leave, they're old and gray and their face is wrinkly. That's how he looks. He looks like he's aged like a president.
Well, Don sitting in catering with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal and a cast of thousands, J.D. Drake. And, you're sitting back there fighting for a crust of bread. It's going to make you age. It's going to make your hair turn gray. You're just waiting. Evan Bourne. He was Evan Bourne in WWE. Got fired for smoking pot. Back then, they fired you for smoking pot. God damn it, pal.
Now they give you a promotion. Anyway, that shit just don't shit on their heads. Anyway, this thing ended. Thank God. Oh, but it doesn't end because here comes the music and John Moxley's got to walk through the crowd. And he gets a microphone and he gets in the ring and he whacks
the baddest man on the planet, John Moxley. He whacks Takeshita with the microphone and makes Takeshita look like a bitch before their match.
Why not?
Their championship eliminator match. It's not even for the belt. It's the eliminator match on a pay-per-view. It's a match to prove whether or not you deserve a title shot on a pay-per-view. Why would you do that? And you know why Moxley came in and punked out Takeshita?
Because he's going to lose.
Takeshita didn't know.
He's going to lose.
He's not losing that belt.
You just said it's an eliminator match. It's not for the actual title.
But he's not losing that belt. Moxley's not losing that match. He's not losing the match on pay-per-view. I'll tell you why.
I thought it was for the belt. Are you sure about that?
It's eliminator match for the belt. For a shot at the championship. Okay. It's eliminator match. I know this is hard. It's hard for anybody to actually make sense of this shit. An eliminator match against the champion. If you beat the champion, that proves that you're good enough to face the champion in a championship match. It's
at a later date.
It's ass backward thinking. If they got rankings, whoever's high up in the rankings.
That shit hasn't come back in a long time. No, they got rid of that again. They brought it back. They're like, this is such a stupid idea. If you're telling me this is just an eliminator match at this pay-per-view, Takeshita's going to win.
No, he's not going to win. He is not going to win. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. He's in the doghouse right now because he did that interview with DDT Pro, that website, and told everybody how disenchanted he was with AEW.
You say that, but you're thinking like this logically, and Tony Khan doesn't think that way. He's going to think, how can I make this guy happy? Oh, I know. I'll give him a big win at the pay-per-view. That's how he's going to do this. I'm calling that now. On to the next segment. Swerve Strickland's backstage. Ugh. This made me laugh, though, because the Bucks came in, and his response was, "What's up, turds?" That shit got me. Swerve is still over, man. I like the guy. They're just not using him right, man. Why does he have a match every week on this show? Did you see Cody Rhodes have a match every week?
There's no reason.
Make the fans pay to see it live.
Right. There's no reason for it. You've got 201 people and ordinary talents on your payroll. Put some other schmucks on there instead of put Lance Archer on there against Moxley or whoever. Instead of Swerve. I just don't understand it. Why would you abuse your champion like this?
By the way, thank you for watching
Joe
tonight.
Never wrestled. When Joe was champ, did he wrestle every show?
No, but he did wrestle more often than he should have.
He came out.
He actually wrestled a couple of matches, and I wouldn't have done it.
He did, right? He did, but he didn't wrestle every week or every program like Rampage, Collision, like Swerve's doing. No.
Yes. By the way, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button. The super chats are open. If you got something to say or got a question, please let us know. This thing came on and Nick Wayne came out and I said, I can't do this shit.
Oh.
It's piss. It's take a leak time. It's let the dogs out time. Because I said, you're going to have your world champion have a competitive match with a middle school kid, and you're going to do it. And I got nothing against Nick Wayne. He might turn out to be a really great wrestler, but that kid needs about 4 years and 60 pounds before I'm going to take him seriously. It really am. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't.
The match you should have had with Nick Wayne should have been a Rampage. Evan Bourne versus Nick Wayne. That's what they should have had. and brought in somebody else who's of size to face Swerve or who did Evan Bourne face? Who did Matt Sydal face?
Was it Takeshita?
Takeshita. Yes, Takeshita.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't he have somebody else who's big face either one of those two? I just don't understand what they do. I don't understand.
You knew how it was going to end. Swerve wins, and then you knew how it was going to end from there. The dinosaur comes out. He jumps him from behind. Cage runs in. Then we got a chase scene all through the building where, once again, there's just somebody waiting in a car that Christian Cage can hijack and steals his car and begins driving out of the back alley. And out of nowhere, in comes Swerve's manager. Yeah.
The dancer, Prince Nana.
Prince Nana, to block him in because he just knew that was going to happen. This is Vincent Kennedy McMahon bad.
At his worst.
This is when I hated watching wrestling, was when they had all this shit backstage with Goldberg running off to try to get into a car to chase Chris Jericho. This was the shit where I was like, I can't watch this, man. All of this sucks. They're going way too far. They get on top of an SUV because we've got to damage a car. We've got to do something stupid. We get a chair shot that misses, and off runs Christian Cage, and that's the end of that segment. And I just thought, this is why I stopped watching the WWE in the early 2000s. And then came back when I saw CM Punk and Diesel came back, and then got away again when they got away from that shit. Because they have just these terrible segments where they just see in their head it's like a Hollywood movie. And then it plays out and you realize, we don't have Hollywood actors. This shit ain't going to work. It just comes off as hokey. The only backstage segment, there's a couple that have worked, but the few that come to mind that really worked for a backstage segment, Goldust and Roddy Piper in that car chase. That shit was awesome. By the way, P.S. Notice he really broke his goddamn arm too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He broke his wrist, I believe it was. That really happened. He really got hit by a car and he really broke his wrist. That's why it looked so damn good. And the other one that always comes to mind is Kevin Nash lawn darting Rey Mysterio into a trailer backstage and Macho Man jumping on a limo that was totally unscripted and holding on for dear life as it drove away. Those are the ones that come to mind. The shit they did with Rikishi and The Rock and all that shit was so bad. All of it was terrible. I didn't like any of it then. This was that.
We got it again. We've got it again.
I'll calm down now.
Why? So many questions. So many questions. The implausibility of Nana being there at the right place at the right time. The implausibility of that skillet-faced 6-foot blonde coming out with Christian just to make him look even smaller than what he is. She's taller than he is.
She's a tall woman.
Why would this happen? Why would you do this? Nick Wayne having a competitive match with Swerve Strickland. And everyone he's wrestled in the last 4 weeks, he's had competitive matches with. Why? He should be beating the brakes off these bastards in the first 5 minutes of the match, if not the first 2. Nick Wayne should have been a 1 minute and done match. Over. Hit him with the finisher. That's it. I couldn't even tell you what Swerve Strickland's finisher is. Couldn't tell you. Don't know. We don't know.
Now it's that side head kick. It was something else. Now it's the side head kick. I noticed that last night.
You have an attention for detail because none of that registers with me. Swerve Strickland is a placeholder champion like Damian Priest. And I wouldn't be surprised if Christian Cage beats him for the belt.
I don't see that coming. They're going to hold that belt another couple of papers.
I think Christian Cage versus Ospreay for Wembley would be a money feud because Christian Cage can talk. Christian Cage has all those moving parts around him, and he can get some heat on Ospreay. And they'll love it when he finally gets beat.
I don't think they're going to go that way.
I think he's going to take this belt. I really do.
Well,
I think he's going to.
We got 2 predictions on this, so I can't wait till this shit goes down. Out next was the Pagan King. I'm sorry, it was Malachi Black. My bad. I thought it was the Pagan King for a minute there.
If Christian beats Swerve Strickland, him and that skillet-faced harlot should have a live sex celebration.
No, we're not.
We're not. Right there in the middle of the ring.
By the way, I do love the new cooler you have in the background filled with Bud Light. That's a cool addition to your house. Yeah,
I'm glad you like that. It's filled back there.
It really is. Bud Lights galore, and you've got walk-in Wawa-style beer coolers. That's cool.
Sure. It goes great with the little spinning rollers underneath the heat lamps to keep my Hot Pockets warm. You fucker.
The Pagan King
That's a
comes out.
curio cabinet in case anybody really wants to know.
Come on, you got to sell bottles. It's a wrestling show. You got to sell this shit. So here's the match that we have. We have the Pagan King against the auto parts store. That's what I wrote down. This was the match we got.
The Pagan King against the auto parts store.
Yeah. It's Kyle O'Reilly, wasn't it? O'Reilly. Change the channel.
He had a clean shirt on. That's all I can say.
He looked like he'd walk through death again, though.
Yes, he doesn't look good at
all.
He's jobbing on go-home shows.
I know.
To Malachi Black. That's what he's doing now.
And these guys exchange kicks, they exchange punches, and then with the fake kick that actually caught him the next time around, and that was the end of that. Then Cope came on the screen, and he's talking shit, and out of nowhere, from above, we had red diarrhea fall all over the Pagan King in the middle of the ring.
Yes, I'm going to take a butter knife and spread some over on some toast. It looked like strawberry jam and piss coming out of the sky. Actually, the way the jet was spraying downward, it looked like it was coming up from the ring. It's just optical illusion. That pressure washer type jet was squirting it down so hard. I bet that hurt Malachi Black.
It didn't look like it was comfortable because once he hit the ring, he tried to get the hell away from it as fast as possible. It didn't look comfortable. But here's my thing, Bottles. We've seen this. We saw this in the WWE, WWF. We saw it in WCW. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's the stuff that when you watch it, you go, this is sixth grade comedy or funniness. It's not adult humor. This isn't made for somebody who's going to take this. I'm sorry. This is the worst part of wrestling is when I get shit like this. It really is. I hate this shit. They try to do it to Kevin Nash like twice in WCW. Once they missed him completely and he just turned around and looked at it. The second time he had to step into it. I remember the Brood doing it a couple of times when they were early in their careers.
Don't be surprised if Gangrel shows up at the pay-per-view to walk Edge to the ring. Don't be surprised. Edge has gone full Judgment Day. Remember in the Judgment Day? He wore the black suit, sat down in a chair, one light shining on him. That's what that promo was. But they showed on the big screen. A callback to Edge in the Judgment Day when he created that group. He's going to come out with Gangrel Sunday. I bet you any minute money.
I wouldn't bet against that because
Tony will pay him. What they should have done, they should have had Gangrel on the show tonight or last night, where as he would just, the lights would be out and he comes out from underneath the ring with his goblet and toasts Aleister Black or Malachi Black. And takes a sip, and all of a sudden that shit comes down all over.
I'm being dead serious when I ask this. When you see shit fall from the sky like this, I don't care what it is. I really don't care what it is. At no point ever have I thought that was cool or that was a cool moment. When Steve Austin drove a beer truck to the side of the ring and splashed everybody, that was a cool moment. When they recreated it with the milk truck and Kurt Angle, that was a cool moment. When it falls from the ceiling, it's just dumb. Because who's controlling that shit? You're telling me Edge has got a secret push button device where he can just drop shit on the ceiling? It's insane.
It's magic. It's magic, Don. It's vampire magic. Edge must be a vampire now. It's period blood.
Is it hokey, stupid? Am I wrong here? Am I out of touch with the kids, Bottles? Because I remember when I watched it, I thought the same thing. This is stupid. This is hokey. I have no love for this. I don't want to see it again.
If it's done well with any kind of drama, it might be worth something. But there's no drama involved.
When was it ever done well that you can remember?
During the Brood days, one or two times it was done well. I can't recall the exact opponents, but one or two times it was done well with the production and the drama, and they built the feud over like the course of 2 months instead of 2 weeks. All of a sudden, he's got a hard on for the House of Black. So
I'm over.
It looked like they gutted Brody King. They were hanging him on meat hooks in the sky, and they gutted him, and all of his entrails and his blood.
All right, I'm not going that far.
The sky on top of Malachi Black.
It looked like some sort of a jelly jam shit. I don't know what it was.
Probably strawberry jam and some water through a pressure hose.
Your favorite girl, Toni Storm, came out next and had a tag team match against Saraya. Those were the two main stars of this show.
Yes, it was Toni Storm and Mariah May versus Saraya and the female Luthez, Harley Cameron.
And they had the same shit that the men did. No count out in the ring, no counts by the ref. Just everybody do shit. I don't even care who won because this is where we get good. I could give a shit less about that women's match. Singh versus Daniel. Bryan Danielson. We got it. Here it is. And I thought, oh my God, look at the size difference. How long are they going to let this shit show go on? Because this guy's not very big.
25 minutes.
Here we go. They have an outside moment of the ring.
Buddy.
The manager of Singh decides, I'm going to prepare the table for this bump that's about to happen.
I'm clearing that table off.
This jackass takes the top of the table and instead of picking it up and removing it, slides it forward, causing whatever that drop pin was to completely come out, and the whole damn thing falls apart in the main event. They literally had the worst moment they could have had for this spot happen on live television. And when it happened, all I thought was, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. If they didn't even talk, how does this happen at this level? We had a spot at WrestleMania where they laid Big Man on the table and it broke. And they beat the shit out of him and got another table. You're not getting another table in this spot. This isn't happening. The table literally said, I've had enough of this shit show. I'm out of here. I'm giving up on the match too. Nobody's going through me tonight. This is the worst thing I've seen. This is a winch wipe of a show. I'm out. I'm out.
With those announce tables, a lot of people don't realize there's a little latch they have in there where it's on each side where you pull the latch and disengage it so that somebody can get slammed through the top and it will fall apart the correct way.
If it was going to give that damn easily, why would you even touch the table? The table said, I don't want to get any of this shit on me. I'm not taking the blame for this show.
I don't think they realized it was going to fall apart like that.
Dude,
if you look at it the way it was constructed, that little hood that fits over where the announcers have the tablets, that little hood in the WWE is a flimsy piece that just snaps in a little groove on each corner. You can pop it right off. The hood that Sanjay Dutt moved out of the way has 3 big triangular pieces of wood sticking out of the back of it. So when he pulled that forward to get it out of there, that's when everything fell to shit.
On your go-home show.
He should have called it audible and went underneath the ring and pulled a table out. You know they're under there. He should have pulled a table out and set a table up so Singh could chokeslam Bryan through the table.
Through something.
They called it audible, where he chokeslammed Bryan on the ring apron and said, chokeslam!
Do you want to know how that happened? That son of a bitch was still going to chokeslam him on the table, and Bryan said, no, fuck that. No, you ain't. Get up here. No, sir. That's not happening now. Exactly. That's no longer an option.
Exactly. And did you hear the Giants say, fuck that shit? Did you hear him say that? Said that on live TV last night. Fuck that shit.
It got out of hand. It just got out of hand. And then the match ends. They start kicking the shit out of them. Out come the Young Bucks. And then out of nowhere, like a knight in shining armor, Tony Khan shows up at his own show.
a knight in a shining armor on a white SUV, rolled up with
Darby Allin, Captain Bus himself, Mr. Greyhound.
Captain Attention Deficit Disorder. Darby Allin rolls out with a fucking flamethrower.
Why?
If you're not going to set shit on fire, don't bring out a flamethrower. If they would have had a table that was soaked with lighter fluid, and one of the Bucks is laying on it, and he gets ready to pull that trigger, and the Buck jumps up, and he hits the table, the whole thing goes up. It would have been great.
This was the worst go-home show they could have possibly had. It sucked. It sucked. I didn't like anything about it.
What's Cornette say?
I don't know.
About put a hat on a hat?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. That's not even Cornette, though. That's an old saying. It's like putting a hat on a hat. That's an old saying.
This was like putting a hat on a hat. Too much shit. Too much icing on the cake. It was ridiculous.
Tony Khan has got to hire a booker. He's got to hire a booker, man.
He's got to. So, well, somebody's writing something. They hired Swerve's cousin. They hired Swerve's cousin from Fightful. Will Washington used to be a podcaster for Fightful, and he's Swerve Strickland's cousin. Well, he's out of Fightful for the past over a year now. He's been backstage writing shit for Swerve. And this is what you've got. Flamethrowers, hot lesbian action. If a table collapses with a show, but no one watched it, doesn't make it sound.
Well, I want to talk about this for a minute. I'm glad you brought this up, Gil, because I copied this. I videoed it on my own phone and put it on YouTube and said, I can't believe this shit actually was on my TV tonight. And the vast majority of people agreed. They're like, this is embarrassing. This is awful. But you still got those dyed-in-the-wool, can't let it go AEW neckbeards that will defend anything that they do until their dying breath. There's no way to defend this show. There's nothing you can tell me that would make me go, this was a good show. This was better. The product improved. You had 713,000 people watch this on your go-home PLE. You had 850,000 2.5 months ago. Oh. You have isolated this down to a core niche audience to the point that I don't know if I can keep watching this shit. I just don't know. It's just that it's unwatchable to where I think I'm going to have to start DVRing it and fast forwarding it. Why would you defend this? And of course, they always go back to this. Well, it happens in WWE, and I give them shit too. When it's bad, it's bad. Why would you defend it? Do you have personal stock in these companies? Are you a fan that's got actual ties to it? Are they family members? Good God, I'm a Broncos fan. They suck. I can admit when they suck. This show sucked. It sucked for a while, and it's not getting better.
There was nothing on this show that made me want to order that pay-per-view for Sunday. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing on this. I mean, you have questions, you would think. You would say, I don't think Swerve is going to be the champ going in. Like me personally, I don't think Swerve is going to be the champ after Double or Nothing. I don't think she's going to be the champ. She's going to beat Serena Deeb. Definitely. I think Mariah May is going to do something, and they're going to have signals crossed. I don't think that Willow Nightingale is going to be the champ. I think they're going to put the belt on Monet.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Sort of things like that. Things like that you would think, but nothing makes you want to go ahead and order it. It just makes you want to go ahead and check the spoilers on Monday morning when it's all over with. What happened? Nothing makes you want to watch this stuff. Nothing. Nothing at all. 713,000 people tuned in, and a lot of those people, probably 200,000 of them, were WWE fans, giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's a go-home show. Let's see what they've got, what's going on for Double or Nothing. And it's just the shits. Just the shits. Shivani, I would gut the announce team for one. It would be Excalibur, and it'd be Taz, and then I'd have MJF.
Whoa. You would keep Excalibur, dude?
Who else you got?
The guy that they fired that was on their Saturday show was doing a hell of a lot better job.
But they fired that guy.
I don't care. He's a better option.
I know he is, but they're not going to bring him back. They fired him. I'd close up shop at Ring of Honor then if you were to get rid of Excalibur and hire and tell Ian Riccoboni, I want you to do Dynamite from now on.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we'll bring in the first hour. We'll bring in, just like they did in WCW, we'll bring in a heel or a face. We'll be an active wrestler or an inactive wrestler. We'll come in and do commentary with you. And then the second hour, we'll bring in a different guy. They could have MJF. They could have Don Callis.
You got way too many marks now. You got way too much movement. Way too much. What I'm saying is
just trying to make it better. It's better what they got going on right now.
They've got in-house options is what I'm saying. Pick 2 guys and go with them that aren't on the show other than Taz. Taz can work. You've got other guys in other positions. Tony Schiavone should be doing interviews backstage at a maximum.
Tony Schiavone should be in talent relations, not even on the air. They really threw him that time. How many times did you say that? He really threw him that time. Oh, it's not looking good.
Hire a booker.
Who needs that guy doing color?
Hire a booker. Not just anyone can do this, Tony Khan. That's why guys in this business have done it for so long, and they rotate. You don't stay the booker for more than 6 to 7 months. You rotate out. You can't do this.
If I was insane like this guy and wanted to keep Excalibur, I would say next week, you're not wearing your mask. You're going under a fake name. Pick a name. Mark Schoenstein, Jack Falkman, whatever. James Cranston.
You know his voice.
It doesn't matter. You can just pretend it's wrestling. You pretend it's a different guy being the commentator. Fuck it. What else you got to lose? You got red shit called falling from the sky. You've got guys getting pile driven on steel steps twice and getting up and walking away like they're, hey, let's go to 5 Guys. Let's everybody go to Denny's. It's ridiculous.
I'm going to walk away from this show. This Ring of Honor, this show that we had, Ring of Honor, this AEW show.
Ring of Honor.
I'm just going to say this. All right. Just going to say this before we move on to some other stuff. That table's not selling shit, pal.
Table's not selling
shit. God, what a clusterflop. All right.
You know when Samoa Joe does the walk away when a guy's flying over the top.
Yes, the table walked away from that shit.
Yes, the table walked away. Fuck that.
God. There's some news going on around the universe that was pretty big today. I mean, look, I personally don't like this. I think it's a bad idea. I think when you said, I'm going to get to it, but when you decide that SummerSlam should have 2 nights, I'm not a fan. Oh my God, there it is. See, you started something.
There you go, Mike Hunt.
Oh my God.
Mike Hunt.
Why SummerSlam is he's going to be on NXT next week. I heard he's debuting.
Mike Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's managing
tag teaming with Peter Gazzinian.
No, he is managing 2 holes is what I think the new wrestler's female's name is. 2 holes.
2 holes. 2 holes. Yes.
Or
6-pack. You pick her up like a 6-pack.
Stop. See, I knew you were going to say it. Look,
you said 2 holes.
Y'all are killing me tonight. Why would you put SummerSlam at 2 nights, man? I don't get it.
Because I said just a couple weeks ago, and I said back when TKO bought WWE that they want to make SummerSlam their WrestleMania in the summer. It's one of the big 4 pay-per-views. They want to go ahead and boost that up because it's a summertime event, vacation season. They want to have people slide in there and spend a lot of money in all these different towns. The Chamber of Commerce in all these cities pays WWE a ton of money, millions of dollars, just to bring that traveling circus into town. And that's what they're looking at. 2 nights. 2 nights.
By the way, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button. The super chat is open if you got something to say, comment, or question. You're going to have to change how you do WrestleMania and SummerSlam then, Bottles. You're going to have to change the format. You're going to have to change how it goes down.
What would you do?
Oh, boy. Mark says, if you VPN for the evening on Sunday, put yourself in Europe, it's only $25 via YouTube, and then stream on your TV. No way do they deserve $50.
Yes. Yes. I use a private VPN.
Well, thank you very much for that healthy tip. For those of you with the VPN, there you go.
Oh,
if you want to watch it for 25,
it's PIA, private internet access. That's the name of my VPN that I use when I download things that I shouldn't.
What a great tip. I appreciate that. But if you're going to have a SummerSlam 2-night spectacular like you do WrestleMania, you can't have them 4 months apart. That's not going to work. You're going to have to change something. You can't keep having WrestleMania in April, and then 4 months later, you're going to try it again. Fans are going to get dead tired of that shit. It's got to be farther apart. So in my mind, you've got to push WrestleMania back to March and maybe push SummerSlam out to the first week of September. Maybe it's the Labor Day event.
Well, they're looking to make WrestleMania later in April for warmer weather.
That's what they're looking to do. Though.
Well, they made a mistake of going to an arena, going to a stadium this past year, where the first night it was like 45 degrees outside. And
but that's what they would have happened though, was in stadium shows. This SummerSlam in 2 years is in a big ass football stadium. It's indoors, but that's what they're moving to.
Look, man, I know, but I'm just saying the guys from TKO said it was really cold there.
Yeah, no shit. I don't get it, Bottles. Like, I want to enjoy wrestling, but I don't want you to inundate me to the point that I get sick of seeing this shit all the time. You have 12, 13, 14 PLEs a year right now. Some of them, one of them is 2 nights. So essentially I'm getting like 14, 15, 16 PLEs. I've got the Saudi show. We got 2 shows a month in a couple of instances.
Okay.
It's just, it's got to stop.
If you go out on the corner every week, once a week, and you're selling pies that your wife baked, and you're selling a shitload of pies, you say, you better make some more pies. I just sold a ton of them. So she makes some more pies. You're out Tuesday. You're out there on the corner selling more pies. The demand of WWE content is making them have all these PLEs and all these two-night events. If it wasn't selling, if people weren't going to the shows, spending merch, booking hotel rooms, flying in from out of town to see SummerSlam or WrestleMania, they wouldn't be doing this. So there's a high demand for their product right now. They're selling out everywhere.
Right now. What about 2 years from now? You're backing yourself.
They'll cut things back.
You're backing yourself into a corner where you're saying this.
You're cut things back. You won't see Clash of the Castle anymore. You won't see Backlash anymore. They're going to do. I saw what they're going to do with the main pay-per-views, the most famous pay-per-views, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. They're going to keep those in the United States. The secondary pay-per-views I saw in this interview with Triple H, they're going to farm those out to other countries. They're just announced they're having a Japan tour. First time in 5 years, a Japanese tour. So that's going to be fantastic for the Japanese market. They'll probably have a pay-per-view in Japan.
And I agree. Strike while the iron is hot.
Gotcha.
Don't inundate your audience to the point that we don't care anymore.
Right.
The NFL is the monster of sports leagues in this country for one reason. You get it about this much out of the year. So you've got to get every bit of it that you can when it's on. I've got wrestling on with the WWE 2 nights a week. They still have this brand new A&E show going on that they've restarted with Rivals, where apparently the Mulkey brothers are coming on, according to freaking Beer Man, who's so excited about that. He's running around the yard right now with his cats, chasing them and trying to herd them back in the house. He's an excitable guy. The Mulkeys are on. He's chasing cats. The table's quitting. I got a pay-per-view this weekend. I got a PLE I don't give a shit about in Saudi Arabia. I got too much wrestling.
The Beer Man right now is in a very, very worn patio chair, sitting behind his house, looking at his phone, nodding accordingly. By the way, his name was mentioned. Beer Man. We mentioned it again.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Super Chat's open. Hit the ring-a-ling-ding-a-ling. Get notifications on your phone and or electronic device.
Yes.
That sounds good.
And while you're here, when you get off the show, when we're done, check out our channel, our Teespring store for the Squared Circle Maniacs merchandise. Give it a shot.
Please don't pour another beer. Good God, that was bad.
No, I don't have it with me, Doug. Just relax.
There is some big news coming out of the wrestling world in WWE about this show in Saudi Arabia. Did you hear about this?
No, go ahead and tell me.
Triple H said the winner of the King and Queen of the Year,
yes, I did hear that,
will get a guaranteed title match at SummerSlam.
Right.
The Ring General King Gunther, or however you want to say it, the King General Gunther.
The King General.
That's going to happen. He's going to get his shot at Cody. No, it's going to be whoever the title champion is at the time, right? Is it going to be Priest? Do you think it's Damian Priest?
Will it be like Will it be like Money in the Bank, where he could pick whatever show?
No,
whatever show he wants to go to.
He did specify that it would be their respective brand.
Well, that changes everything then with what I'm thinking. then it's I don't foresee Damian Priest being champ past Clash of the Castle. They'd have to give that to McIntyre. They're right in his backyard, Scotland.
It's not going to happen.
You don't think so?
Nope, and I can tell you why.
CM Punk.
CM Punk fucks him again. And now he's got a legitimate bitch headed to SummerSlam, which we said back in January. That's when we thought he'd return for an actual match. That's what it's setting up for. That's where I think it's going. That's where I think this whole thing is headed.
So, with that being said, Priest is the odd man out come SummerSlam. Gunther's got to take that belt. And then CM Punk throws his hat in the ring. And a match against Gunther, and then Drew McIntyre F's him over.
You might have like a one of those long 4-month feuds with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I can see this thing running, and I'm not saying that they're going to wrestle every PLE, but you can see them at SummerSlam. You might see them at Survivor Series have a match, and then they meet and showdown in the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Like, this has got legs that can carry it for a long time.
It's got legs.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like, that was kind of surprising, which also means Nia Jax is definitely going over, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Before I move on to something else, did you have anything you want to cover?
Yes, TKO announced a merger of WWE and UFC live event operations. Some people were laid off when TKO bought WWE. They said some departments were going to be redundant and they were going to cut back because you don't need so many people in digital media, in marketing, in live events. So the live event team that books the UFC live events will also be booking the WWE live events with a core cadre of remnants of the WWE live event office. So,
and this happens when every company merges with somebody else. It always happens.
Absolutely. I see that Bully Ray on Busted Open is calling for Christian to win the belt from Swerve.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. Yes. And I've also seen that on the AEW website, they've removed the name Bullet Club Gold from the website. And I guess they're just going to be known as the Bang Bang Gang. The Two Gun Brothers and Jay White.
That's different.
Very strange.
It's an odd, kind of a weird little move. Why the hell would you do that?
Don't know. Unless there was some sort of copyright
challenge. Maybe, that. And it references pissing on people. So that could also be why.
Bullet Club Gold references pissing on people? Tell me more, Vince McMahon. Tell me
more. Golden showers, pal. That was sort of where it was coming from.
Really? Bullet Club Gold's...
I just saw some of the comments on that. That's sort of where it came from. Look, I'm not saying that it made sense to me, but I'm telling you that's what was referenced. So, I don't know. Maybe it was a different connotation in Japan. I have no idea.
Maybe if they change the name of the group to Pudding Club Gold.
No, that's not going to work either.
No? Pudding Club?
You got anything else? Because I got a couple more. If you got anything else, go ahead.
I do. I've got Ric Flair was on Twitter.
Oh, shit. This thing.
Ric Flair was on Twitter. And
responding to Dutch Mantel, right? Okay.
His podcast. Dutch Mantel has some things to say about Ric Flair and how bad he is in his last match, how bad he was. And Rick claimed he had a heart attack during the match.
And
almost died. And Rick responded in all capital letters. Dutch, I'm so happy to admit that I agree with every comment you made about me. I was lucky to not die of a heart attack in the ring during my last match. But you're right. I do want to die in the limelight. I've been in it since I was 15 years old. And how sad is this? I'm 75 years old now, still in the limelight, and still the main event. What?
At your local pizzeria.
Jaisal Papat, MD, was the doctor who diagnosed me with a heart attack. Most credible heart surgeon in Tampa. FYI, it's a bitch being the star. And Dutch responded, Rick, I'm glad you agree with me, but if you want to die in the ring, then so be it. Free will, free country. So you'll be assured that you'll die the star. Although in many fans' eyes, a very stupid one. Thanks for the publicity. Stay out of pizza joints more in my podcast.
Why, man? Why? Why can't he just let it go? Why does this man insist on doing this to himself publicly? I don't understand his mindset. Too many chair shots. Too many chair shots, dude. I'm telling you.
Shits. He's not happy sitting at home with the dog and the wife, just having a cocktail, watching ESPN, taking it easy. He's not happy with that. He's got to be Ric Flair. He can't be Richard Fleer. He's got to be Ric Flair, and live. He's got to live the iconic lifestyle. And,
I guess
wearing suits made out of broke his shit, wearing suits made out of whorehouse curtains. With if he's got money, why would he get plugs? Why would he get some of that mullet taken out of the back and put up here?
Dude, no,
so he doesn't look like a sad old man. He looks horrible.
That's
75 years old. Accept it.
That's sad, man. I'm just sad that that's his comments and that's his outlook on life at this point in time. He barely lived after his last traumatic, event where he almost died in the room because he was drinking himself to death.
Yes. He was in a coma for about 60 days, 90 days. He healed. He went out on the road, rectum bagging and personal appearances, a piss bag strapped to his leg. It's just he's great. He's the gift that keeps on giving. Having drunken meltdowns at a pizza place. Ric Flair. Enough of that prick. Sting's son, Stephen Borden Jr. Have you heard this?
Yes.
Stephen Borden Jr. in Sting's last match, folks, he was the guy dressed up in red with the red face paint as NWO Sting with the long
tomato Sting, as everybody calls it, is tomato Sting.
Tomato can Sting, yes. He is training right now to be a wrestler. He's training with Darby Allin.
Of course he is. Bottles, I got a couple more before we go home here, pal.
Go ahead, pal. I'm just exasperated. I'm exasperated.
I get
it. Should we play the CM Punk and AJ Lee picture from his Instagram?
No.
Plant trees. No. Don't do that.
No.
Let that go.
I'm not making fun of somebody's teeth, man. Like, I'm just not.
I don't think that was making fun of her teeth.
Okay.
Why don't we let our viewers decide?
Fine. Throw it up. And I want to know, was CM Punk referencing planting trees to give life, or was he referencing planting trees because her teeth are that bad?
Here is
you have to read that because that is small.
Here is a picture of CM Punk's Instagram. He's here in the red, and that's AJ Lee over here where my cursor is bouncing around. You can see that. And she's on the right. And they're walking down to the corner of Evergreen Avenue and some main drag in Chicago in the rain. Up top, right above where the street sign is, the green street sign is here. If you can see that, right up above here, he's written, "Dear CEO, plant more trees than you cut down."
I felt like that was a shot to me. I'm just saying.
Don claims that was a shot towards Sasha Banks' teeth, that she could
her overbite.
Her overbite, where she could eat a piece
tree
of watermelon. A what?
A tree in half.
She could bite a tree in half, like a beaver. And I disagree. I think that she was maybe casting aspersions on where she came from, the WWE, and when she was hired and doing interviews, and she should be planting trees.
Well, if that's what he was doing, then he's the last guy that should be talking about that shit. Because when he left the WWE, he burned down every bridge he could. So he's the last guy. He's the last guy that should be saying some shit.
You've got a good point there. You've got a point there. Yeah.
So I'm just saying. I got two more bits of news before we get the hell out of here because it's about time to go, pal.
I got one more, pal. Signs in the crowd last night at Dynamite. Cornette is God. Yes. And Triple H is your daddy.
And they didn't get him in time.
Didn't get him in time. Now, they took Triple H as your daddy. You didn't see that again. But at the end of the show, Cornette is God resurfaced. I don't know if the guy made another sign in the crowd, but it resurfaced. They just see the clip online where Swerve is beating Nick Wayne with his belt. And it's shot from the busy side of the arena where it's people. And you can see the entire other side of the arena completely empty. Have you seen that? This is a cell phone camera. So I could put this on.
I would not.
No,
I would not risk it. I'm not going
Okay.
to risk it. Here's what I will say, because we got to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I got people to call. I got things to see. Mark Henry, his contract's up in AEW.
Yes.
I haven't seen this guy, I think, since the first time he showed up on TV. Where the hell's this guy been?
He goes on Busted Open, where he's a co-host and runs his mouth about AEW, and he sweetly casts aspersions towards the booking of AEW and the way they do things, without really, in a roundabout way, without really coming right out and saying it like we do. They have him signed up. Mark Henry's the guy who discovered Jade Cargill. Did you know that?
He doesn't do anything. He was a talent
scout. He was a
talent
scout for
Paul
WWE.
White.
When WWE had him in the system, he was a talent scout. He would go to the NIL program things for meetings and pick people. That's what he would do. And the goal was to have him be on air as a commentator on the internet shows, the YouTube shows. Well, they're gone now when the YouTube shows faded away. Anyway, it's just another guy that's 200.
I'm going to say it again, and I hope you can give me a definitive answer.
Go ahead.
What the fuck does this guy do now? On the show, what does he do?
On the show, nothing.
Okay. Why the fuck did they sign this guy?
Because he was doing things for the internet shows in the past, in the last 5 years. And now they're not going to renew his contract. He's out. It's Malachi Black. They're not going to. Malachi Black does not want to have his contract renewed.
But he's signed through like 2026 from what I read.
No.
Yes.
No, Fightful's even reporting. Fightful is even reporting that Malachi Black's contract is coming up very, very soon.
I trust them about as far as I can throw.
Who would you trust? Meltzer, Alvarez?
I would actually trust Meltzer over all of them, because at AEW, I think he still has an inside track on what the hell's going on.
Well, so does Sapp. And Danhausen's no more. Danhausen is done.
Yes. Also, the other part I want to talk about, Natalya looks like she's going to leave, man. And that's a pretty big run. A pretty big run.
If she does leave, she's going to go to TNA. She's not going to AEW. If she does leave, I don't think she's going to leave. Her husband works there. Why would she leave her husband?
Lots of husbands work there. That mean their wives do.
Maybe she'll go to TNA for like a little run like Naomi did and come back. Maybe she'll just go to NXT. Have her go to NXT. Be an on-air talent down there and train some of those girls. Get them ready for the main roster. She's already there now. She's already wrestling matches with TNA. On NXT.
I don't think Natalya is going to be back in the WWE. I think it's sort of one of those deals where it's not that we don't love you. It's just we feel like we need to part ways for a while. Maybe we'll bring you back in the future endeavor.
I'm telling you right now, they're not going to get rid of Natalya. They're not getting rid of Natalya.
Okay.
They're not.
You have got a catcher's mask on in left field when you should be behind the plate.
You are chasing
foul balls all over my yard tonight. All over. I can't wait to talk about this damn PLE and this pay-per-view come this week. But I can get a big old bag of I told you so and hand it over to you. I'm looking forward to that show Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all for watching tonight. We really appreciate it.
I don't give a fuck what they do. They can have a show. AEW can have a show. And you can land a plane in the roof of that fucking arena, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care.
Hey, I did want to ask you something, though. We are selling some Papa John's run fundraiser cards for pizzas. And since you're going to owe me a couple of pies here next week, I thought maybe I'd sell you one on the cheap so that when you order my victory pizzas, it won't cost you so much money. Don't act like your screen froze, bitch. You owe me pizzas.
I wasn't acting like my screen froze. I was digesting what you were saying. It's two pizzas, but the fact of the matter is, what was one of the bets? Vince McMahon would be gone, done
by December. You said,
right?
And he's not. It took him a little bit longer. I told you it would be that soon. And the other one was MJF would be with the WWE by June.
Is it June yet?
We're a week away, pal.
Let's see what happens.
You better get on I-95 and start driving fast as shit to Jersey.
Jersey.
That's where he lives, I believe.
Oh.
You better figure something out. I'm trying to hook you up with a Papa John's gift card. I'm even going to ask you to buy me a nice pizza. You can just buy me a medium cheese and we'll call it even. Matter of fact, the first pizza on this card is free. I'm saving you $12. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching tonight. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. We'll be back here on Tuesday, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Bottles, take us home, please.
Caught me by surprise. I didn't have all my shit set up here. Why you got to do that? I thought you were going to keep on talking, for God's sake.
Hey, it's time to go home.
You know who never wanted to go home?
Oh, shit, my table just broke.
Till next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.